This video aims to give you simple and practical instruction on how to get the best from your KVERNELAND semi-mounted reversible plough. For a plough to perform effectively, the tractor wheel settings have to be correctly adjusted, as they control the width of the front furrow. Depending on the type of plough, the inside rear wheel setting should be between 120 and 180 centimeters. The front wheels should be 2 to 10 centimeters wider to enable the rear wheel to follow the furrow wall. If the front wheel setting is narrower, the tractor will wander from side to side, creating uneven work. This is also true if the front wheel setting is too wide, as both tractor and plough will pull out of line, producing a wide front furrow. Tire pressures and wear have a direct relationship to the position of the tractor's three-point linkage. The lower links must therefore always be set at the same length, so that the cross shaft is parallel with the tractor's rear axle. The simplest way of checking that the lift arms are level is to measure the distance between the upper and lower pins before coupling the plough. If the tractor's lift arms are not the same length, the plough will lean into or away from its work. Tire pressures must be equal on the same axle. The center line indicates that the tractor works at the same angle when ploughing in both directions. If the tires are inflated to different pressures, the tractor will lean over, as illustrated, further to one side than the other, affecting the plough's performance. Now to the plough itself. The first check is to ensure that the cross shaft is mounted central to the headstock to provide an equal front furrow width in both directions. The extension of the lower links arms should converge at the center line of the tractor just behind the front axle. It is important to check that the cross shaft is of the right length. If too short, the draft arms will become almost parallel, and the plough will not follow the tractor but will wander from left to right, creating an uneven front furrow. Once the plough is coupled, the top link must be positioned so that its extension converges with the extension of the lower links behind the headstock. The length of the top link is correct when the headstock mast is in a vertical position with the three-point linkage fully raised. At this setting, the headstock will lean forward during work. To ensure easy and effective operation of the plough during work and on headlands, it is important that the hydraulic hoses are coupled to the tractor in such a way as to achieve logical in-cab lever operation. For those ploughs fitted with the auto reset system, it's important to ensure that the leaf spring is set at 70 centimeters, measured between pin centers. This can easily be checked using the long spanner provided, which is marked accordingly. The majority of plough settings can be made prior to starting work. Disc coulters are the first adjustment. Make sure that the disc coulters are set to a minimum of 2 centimeters wider than the width of cut and parallel with the land side in an upright position. On lighter soils or for deeper ploughing, it may be necessary to move the disc coulter further out to maintain a clean furrow wall. The depth of the disc coulter is then set so that its distance from the share is approximately 5 centimeters. This distance may have to be increased when working in hard or stony conditions. All disc coulters should be set in the same position for evenly shaped furrows. The manure skimmer is then positioned so that its point is in light contact with the disc and set to a working depth of 3 to 5 centimeters. Before the plough is put to work, it is important to check that all hydraulic functions are operating correctly. It is also important to ensure that the length of the pulling frame is correct, so that the tractor's rear wheels do not collide with the plough's reversing mechanism. Before transportation, the plough must be rotated to its half-turned position, and the taps on the hydraulic turnover cylinders closed. This allows the rear wheel to be steered independently from within the tractor cab. The hydraulically steered wheel works in conjunction with a special pivoting headstock to give exceptional maneuverability even around the sharpest of corners. The plough is now ready for work. The first step is to mark the headlands using the rear body. Lower the plough with the rear wheel and use the lower links on the tractor to control the height of the front end of the plough. The depth of the furrow should be approximately 10 centimeters. The rear disc coulter should be lowered to provide a clean furrow opening and to help stabilize the plough. After ploughing the opening furrow, adjustments must be made to ploughing depth, the height of the front end of the plough, leveling of the plough, and the front furrow width. The plough must be set at the correct depth by adjusting the hydraulic cylinder on the rear depth wheel. The height of the front end of the plough and the level adjustment can then be made. The plough must be adjusted so that the main frame runs parallel with the ground. Always stand back and view the plough to determine whether the main frame needs to be lowered or raised. Adjustment is carried out by means of the tractor's quadrant lever. Following inspection, to level the plough, the adjusting screws on the turnover cylinder stops should be adjusted so that the plough beams are at 90 degrees to the ground. If the plough leans to the right, as illustrated, the front furrow will be too wide and deep, whereas if the plough leans to the left, the front furrow becomes narrow. Both will result in uneven ploughing. When correctly set, the beams will be upright and all bodies will work at the same depth. The width of the front furrow can now be checked. To ensure that it is equal to the remaining furrows. Any adjustments can be made by means of the adjusting screw on the turnover mechanism. This will move the plough to the left or right as desired until the correct width is achieved. If this adjustment is not carried out correctly, the ploughing will not match the previous round and will produce a high front furrow if adjusted too narrowly or a low furrow if too wide. At the correct setting, all the furrows are of equal width. Once the plough is adjusted and performing satisfactorily, it is necessary to check that the rear wheel is running parallel with the furrow wall. Adjustment is carried out to the rear cylinder stops following the release of the cylinder pressure. If this adjustment is ignored, it may result in the plough running out of line. Speed will greatly affect the performance of the plough. If too fast, trash will not be buried, and therefore it may be necessary either to reduce the ploughing speed or move the skimmers forward. It may also be necessary to make minor adjustments to the disc coater setting to provide a clean finish. As this plough incorporates full variable width control, it is possible to adjust the furrow width on the move to suit the particular soil conditions. In this instance, the plough is being adjusted from 12 to 20 inches during work. To lift the plough out of work, the front end should be raised first by means of the three-point linkage, followed by the rear of the plough using the wheel. This provides a clean headland and eliminates unploughed areas. Once the plough is fully raised, the turnover mechanism is operated with the wheel automatically realigning, ready for re-entry into work. Despite its large dimensions, the KVERNELAND semi-mounted plough has a small turning radius. Its pivoting headstock ensures that the tractor's lift arm loading is at a minimum during reversal, reducing the strain on both tractor and plough. By applying these fundamental rules, together with a little patience and practice, you will achieve the optimum performance from your plough. KVERNELAND ploughs are manufactured to a high standard of quality and precision. And only by using genuine KVERNELAND replacement parts can this standard be maintained. The KVERNELAND symbol guarantees quality. Look for the arrow.